Hello, everybody. I toast to you and all you do. I hope you're having a fantastic day. I'm trying to sit so that my glasses don't get this crazy glare. It's just not possible. It is what it is. So, welcome. Today is day 5 of the introspective journey. And if this is your first day, that's awesome. Welcome. They're not in chronological order or in cumulative order, so you don't have to do them all in order or in a row or all of them. If one question calls out to you and another one doesn't, that's fine. Just do what you can. The important thing is, as we go from Samhain to Yule, that we spend some time honoring ourselves and journeying inward and becoming better acquainted with ourselves. So, today's question is, are my relationships mutually supportive, and do we respect each other? Now, in line with what I was just saying, I think something that we often forget is the relationship that we have with ourselves. And it's very important to honor that relationship and to consider, are you giving yourself respect? Are you honoring yourself and taking that time to be supportive of yourself? And so that should be the first thing that you ask when we start talking about which relationships we're in and are they really supportive of us? Are we getting the fulfillment? Are they taking too much time out of us? All of that. Start with yourself. Are you honoring yourself? And then think about all the different relationships that you're in, and keep in mind that each relationship is going to take a different amount of support in order to be successful. So take the relationship that you have with a neighbor versus the relationship you have with your spouse. They're going to have different levels of energy that you put into them. And consider, are you spreading yourself too thin? Are you focusing on one relationship too much? Or are you not putting any focus on any of your relationships? You're like, blah, whatever. So just kind of think about where your energy is going, and are you using your energy effectively and getting the most out of that energy? Now let's talk about what a supportive relationship is. There are, I wouldn't say misconceptions, but we have a tendency to get caught up in some issues in relationships. And they all kind of circle around this being mutually supportive and understanding what that means. So being mutually supportive is not taking responsibility for another person's actions. It is not putting your responsibility onto another person. It is coming into the relationship with love and good intentions and honesty, and doing the things in which support both of you and make sure that at the end of the day you're both feeling good and lifted and supported and happy and healthy. If you're in a relationship and all day you spend putting out this energy and then you're not getting anything, if you make the call, they don't answer. That's not a mutually supportive relationship. And I know that's a really obvious example, and there will be different levels of this. But here is the other big thing that I see that becomes a problem in relationships. And it's that you and your partner, or you and your friend, or you and your mom, or you and whoever this relationship is, have your relationship. And it's this thing. It has a life of its own. It's its own thing. Now, other people will come in and they will start to say things about their relationship and how that impacts their opinions on your relationship and what they think your relationship should be. Now, if you and your partner are openly and honestly communicating about what your needs and wants and expectations are, and you guys have come to a healthy, open, honest, communicative place where you both know what it is that you want and that you're both getting those things, even if everybody in the world tells you that it should be different, it doesn't matter. The moment that you start letting those other opinions come in and tell you so that you make the decisions based off of what other people think, you're going to have this you put a nail in your cogs. You have created a problem that you don't need. And you see this all the time. I have not met one person who has not had somebody along the way in their relationship tell them how, oh, I don't understand how you let him treat you like that, or how you let her get away with that, or do that, or how you guys make that work. Because each relationship is going to be unique. And what's important is that you and your spouse sit down and talk about what it is that you need, what you want, and what you expect out of that relationship. And you're not doing it from a place of selfishness or pushiness or neediness. I don't like, I need, let me support you and do this for you. Because that's not what it's about. What it's about is that everybody's needs and wants are met. A great example I have of this is with my husband and I. He works and I stay home, and a lot of people on the outside don't understand that. And there's a lot of outside opinions about it, and what they think we're both doing, or how we treat each other, or what we think we're expecting. Like, they think they know what we're thinking, I guess. I don't know. For me, I don't want to get up and go to work. I don't want to do those things. I want to be able to stay home and support my family. And my husband does an amazing job at supporting us. And so I go out of my way to make sure that he feels supported by me, and that he knows that I respect and honor and really cherish the things that he does for us, so that he doesn't feel like he's making this sacrifice in order to give to us. And I don't want him, and vice versa. He doesn't want me to feel like I'm sacrificing in order to provide for our family. This is something that we have agreed is the best for us. And each relationship is going to have their own place of that. I watch a series, it's called Love Doesn't Judge, and it just shows different relationships and how they make it work and how they're happy. And it shows everybody from polyamorous couples to age differences or racial differences or transgendered, or what, the whole gambit of different relationships. And all of these people have found love and acceptance and honest, beautiful relationships that they love and value. And they're all different. And that's the thing, is that your relationship is going to be completely your own, and you have to let that be, and you have to let it grow from that. So, not to ramble on about letting other people's judgments come in. When you're having these open and honest, healthy communications, an important aspect of them is being open to your partners, your friend, your persons that you're talking with, dealing with, different perspective. So we all have different perspectives about the exact same thing. You can be, you and your parents who have been together since you were born can see the same thing and have a different perspective. And that's okay. Everyone's perspective is beautiful and unique, and that's what makes this world amazing. What's important is that when you come into a communication with someone that you love and you're trying to be mutually supportive with them, is that you are both listening to the other person and hearing them from their perspective and not your perspective. They say you got to walk in somebody else's shoes to really understand them. And that's really true. You have to be able to see it from their perspective. I was reading a post the other day in one of the parenting groups that I'm in, and she was asking so she nurses, so her husband changes all the diapers. I know, isn't that amazing? And she's like, is that fair? Now, if we were to tally and we were to say, well, you spend this many minutes taking care of the child and you spend this many minutes taking the child, and we're not taking into consideration the perspective of each task, maybe that is fair. I could see it from another perspective of my stepmom who loves nursing. She would nurse all day. She would nurse until her kids forever, but her kids were like, I don't want to nurse anymore. She loved nursing. Now, for her to say, well, I do all of the nursing, this thing that I absolutely love, now you get to change all the poopy diapers, this thing that's really gross and nobody wants to do, that's not a very fair thing. So it's all a matter of perspective. Now, if he feels like those two things are fair and he's like, yeah, you have to nurse and go through all of that, I'll change the diapers and that's fair. But it doesn't matter what everybody else in the world thinks. What matters is what those two people think. And is those two things fair, equal between the two of them? And when they sit down to have that conversation, they both have to be open to the perspective of the other person. I feel like that was not fair. But I also don't feel like you should compare tasks. As soon as you begin to tally something in a relationship and you begin to say, is this fair? And are we both tallying and we're keeping track of this? You're not having open communication, and clearly someone is not feeling supported or like their needs and expectations are being met. Now, the same thing comes to when you have a conversation that is hard to have. When you sit down to have it, are you listening defensively, or are you listening knowing that the other person is coming from a place of love? And as long as both people are coming from a place of love, when you have those tough conversations, you know that you don't have to be defensive. You don't have to feel like they're attacking you just because they don't agree with you. And you have to be able to say at some point, okay, fine, we just can't agree on this, and that's okay. You know, there are things with every single person I know, there is at least one little topic where we just can't talk about it because I feel passionately one way, they feel passionately another way. I respect their opinion. I respect that they have made that choice based off of their life experiences and that that's where they need to be. And so be it. And vice versa. It's not always as easy as just saying that. And there are things that you just don't talk about with people. I have very liberal friends and I have very conservative friends, and there are things that we just don't all talk about together. I even have very Christian people that I know, and we just don't talk about God, and that's okay. It's fine. We can still get along in these other aspects because that's where the relationship is at. And we have established that line and that boundary, and we're like, that's where it is. And so when you begin to analyze your relationships, I guess with all of that said, the important thing is to round that all up and summarize it into something specific. When you are thinking about your relationships being mutually supportive, it's not about what other people tell you that should be. Even me sitting here telling you now. You have to decide how you feel. And do you feel supported? Do you feel like you're getting what you're giving? Do you feel like this is mutual? And be honest with yourself. Maybe you're not the victim in the relationship. Maybe you're the aggressor. That's something that you have to accept. You have to, okay, I am being aggressive in this relationship. Maybe I owe this person an apology. Maybe I need to change my perspective. Maybe there's something happening here that I need to reanalyze in this relationship. Why am I trying to take control of this? Am I assuming responsibility for things? Am I trying to force something on them? Do I just not agree with who they are as a person? And maybe we shouldn't be friends anymore. And that's okay too. Sometimes you have to move away from people. So maybe as you analyze your relationships, you'll see, oh, this one is not mutually respectful. This one is not mutually supportive. And it's time to let go of that. I'm taking advantage of this relationship. Maybe I need to put forth more energy or wherever that is. Again, there is no right or wrong answer. It's about being honest with yourself. And so, I have some notes. I just want to make sure. All my notes always come back to knowing that you are both loved and respected equally, and that it's not a pedestal and our master or whatever, that it is equal, and that your equal is what you and your partner have decided is equal. Yeah. So I guess to conclude, I was reading over my notes and making sure that I have everything. I feel like I really rambled about this one topic, and that's probably why I've had so much trouble making this video today. This is like the 3rd or 5th, 12th time I had to come inside. I tried first thing in the morning. It just hasn't been coming together because I keep circling back and kind of rambling on the notion of not creating a tally system, not creating this like tit for tat place. You know, it's not about trying to make somebody change or trying to make yourself change to better fit them either. That's the important thing, that everything that you say, oh, they shouldn't do that to me, you shouldn't do that to them. And so are your relationships going back and forth like that? When you ask yourself, is this a person who helps me through the tough times? Is this someone who I help through their tough times? Are we supporting each other even when we don't agree with the choices that we're making? We all have friends who are like, I would never do that in 1,000 years, but that doesn't matter because you're not them. You're not living their life. What's important is that you love them and you respect them and you are there to support them. And that way you can be there when things go amazing and you're like, oh my God, that's so amazing. I didn't think that it was going to work out like that, but I still supported you and I'm here for you and I wanted you to succeed. And I'm so glad that you did. And congratulations on defying the odds or on me, whatever it was. Like, just, you did a great job. Or vice versa. When you don't agree with them and they do it anyways and it doesn't work out, you have to still be supportive and be there for them and just hold their hand and hug them and say, I'm here for you. I see that didn't work out and I'm sorry and I love you and I support you. And not rub it in their face and be like, bah, So you have to enjoy the good times together and you have to encourage them through the bad times. You have to encourage them when they're being doubtful. Are you in a relationship where both of you say to each other, I want you to be the best person that you can be? And then I'm supporting you while you do that. And I'm helping you. And I'm, telling you, even when you're doubting yourself, you can do this. And are they telling you the same thing? Really helping each other to be the best person that you can be. And knowing that you both love and respect each other. And even if your relationship is like with the neighbor and your love is just a neighborly love, that's where the level is. Or maybe it's up here on this high level. Either in any level, what's important is that you're openly communicating and you're honest with each other and you're coming to each other with love and that you feel that from the other person. And so as you think about each relationship, think about the love that you share. And is it flowing freely? This has been such a tough topic just to talk about. There are so many different types of relationships. And so it's not something that I can sit down and say, okay, well, every relationship should be A plus B equals C. And we all even like this. And everybody is like that. Because that's just not the way it is. Some people are polyamorous and some people love, everybody loves who they love. And when you come across someone who fulfills all of those needs that you have to honor that by trying to fulfill their needs. And you have to do it together and you have to be loving each other and really honoring that. And so my challenge for you today is to think about all of the relationships that you have and are they mutually supportive? And be honest with yourself. It's so important. We make up excuses for ourselves in our own relationships all the time. We accept responsibility for things that are not ours, or we put responsibility on other people for things that are not theirs. And as we begin to do that, we get caught in this sticky, sticky web. But what sets you free from that is honesty. Open, honest communication with yourself and with the people around you. And if you don't feel like you can have that, why? And if you can't have that, you're probably not in a mutually supportive relationship. So really think about all of that. I know that's a lot to chew. It's a big, like, I just have this visualization in my head of a really big dog taking a really big steak. It's like so big it doesn't even fit in his mouth. And I imagine that's how a lot of people feel about this topic, because it's hard to be honest with ourselves. So, honor that relationship with yourself by being honest with yourself about the relationships around you. And how is that all playing together? Are you caught in a sticky web? Do you feel alone? Do you, where are you on that spectrum? And where do you want to be? And what can you do to get there? So, again, the question for today is, are my relationships mutually supportive, and do we respect each other? So, with much respect to you and yours, and I hope you have a blessed day. Don't forget to like and subscribe and all that great stuff. I'm glad I finally made it through this video. I hope it uploads right. So, many blessings to all of you, and I hope you have a fantastic day.